Okay, so now let's just create some materials for the pieces and then the board. So I've already had some materials that I created before. I have here the dark pieces and the light pieces, but I didn't do anything with them. So the first thing we're going to do is select one of the objects here, and let's put the dark pieces on that one. Okay, now we're going to go, let me just get closer to it. Right, so I'm going to go to shading, the shading mode here. And I'm going to be here at the viewport shading the second one, because the third one computer will try to be rendering real time. So it's going to be, and this computer is not that powerful. Anyway, okay, so I'm going to show you how to create a procedural texture to wrap around. We're going to do a wooden texture. So this is a shading tab. And here we have, I don't think I'm going to need that one. And I'll bring my reference image here. So I have here in the open, and I have here my chest reference, and I open there. So just keep an eye on the colors and the kind of thing I'm looking to achieve. And that's it. So here is where my material is. This is a principal DF. So this is where I can decide what kind of material that is. I could use this, like I could say that is metallic. Obviously metallic, I would see here. And how rough it is. Yeah. Can just do that. The more roughness, more rough the material is. And towards 0, it's more shiny and glossy. I don't want any metallic, so I'm just going to put 0. Now, I'm going to add, start building up a little procedure texture. So I'm going to Shift A, and then I'm going to add a color ramp. Just follow with me. And a color ramp, and then place on the base color. Okay, so the color ramp, see, I can control here. Okay, so then I'm gonna add Shift A again, and I'm gonna go for the noise texture. And the noise texture, I'm gonna put it here. I'm gonna leave it FBM's fine, and I'm gonna connect the factor to the fact. There you go. That's what you have now. See, with the noise, the color ramp, I can control how much is affected, and the noise spreads in that kind of way. The texture. Okay, so now I'm going to add the mapping, and then once again, I'm going to add a texture coordinate. That would be for me to control the coordinates of the texture, and I can say how many times it repeats and so on with the mapping and the text coordinates. So I'll go here to generate it to vector, and down here in scale, now I can control, instead of having that doesn't look like wood yet, I'm just going to stretch a little bit so it has this kind of wooden grain like I can see here. So let's just pull about 6 maybe. Oh, I didn't connect, so I need to connect the vector to vector. Right, I'm not going to touch that. So maybe I try 6 in X and 1. Yeah, this is more like the kind of thing I want, right? But I want the scale to be kind of something like that. Yeah. Okay. Now here in the color ramp now, I think I'm happy with that. Now I need to add a little bit of a bump. I will change the colors in a minute. Just put it that way. color ramp here, and Shift A and search for bump. It's already there. So I need to add some bumpiness because it's too smooth now. Even though this is quite polished, still going to have some bumpiness. And I'm going to add another color ramp. Color ramp. And then I'm going to connect here my normal to the normal and my color to the height, because I want this color ramp here to control the height of the bumpiness. Okay. And now what is controlling the bump is going to be the noise texture. So this noise texture, the same in fact. Oh, connect to fact. Let me just bring this up a bit. Okay. And now, of course, the strength is too much. So I'm just going to put kind of 0.01. Okay. You see, if I put 0.1, so I click here, and I'm actually going to use the eyedropper. I'm just going to choose my first color there and choose a kind of a dark. It looks the same. So let me just get another color. Okay, and I bring this that way a little bit more. So, and also the roughness, I want low roughness because it's quite shiny, as you can see there. See, it's kind of looking okay. I think the bump is too bumpy. So 0.01, yes, kind of 0.05, 0.02. Okay. And I can always try to control the scale a little bit more. So maybe something like that. The detail, I'm going to leave it to, it's fine. Okay. So that's okay. That's looking good. And if I want to see as it looks with the real lighting that I have now. Yeah. Okay. Great. So I have the first one. I can add more colors if I want. If I just want to add more, just one more color, so it gives a little bit more variation. It created another one here, so it can come and go there and choose maybe. Yeah, it's too much, so I'm going to put on this side. Just kind of mix them up. Too much, I think. I'm going to keep it like this. Right, okay, I'm happy with that. So that is my dark pieces. Now, because I have this one, I'm just going to copy the whole thing. Copy. And then I go to my other one. Let me just click this one now. And light pieces. And then I'm going to paste. Okay. So the only thing I'm going to change here is the color. So I'm going to put the color there and the normal, the same thing. But instead of these colors, I'm going to do the light one. So I'm going to come here with my eyedropper and that one. So you need to click, and let me get closer to it. There you go. And I'm going to keep the same amount of level of roughness because this one was my original one, so I didn't change the roughness. I'm going to keep it like that. Okay, I have two. So now what you need to do is let's just do it for the board. Let's just do it for the board. Okay, the dark board. You know what? I think, where is it? If you can't see it, here you go. For the dark board, I'm just actually going to do the same. Control V. So I have everything here for the dark board. And I'm just going to connect the color and the normal. I can always change later on. That's why it's good to have different materials. You see, it's already looking good. And I probably need a different kind, different scale, perhaps. And then I want quite shiny. And I really don't want any bump. So I'm just going to put it 0. Maybe 0.001. Tiny bit. Okay. And now I'm going to copy all this because I changed some of the settings. Copy, and then I go to my light board and V, and then again put that and put that. And I need just to change the colors. And the colors, I'm going to go to this one. I'm going to go copy. Yeah, so copy, and then go back to the light board. Control V, and then I would just put it in this one and this one and that one. And then I delete this one. Okay, so that is good. That is looking good. So try to create a texture for the board. So we could use similar wooden bit, but just change a little bit the frame. And I'm just going to copy this again. But I'm just going to change some colors a little bit and make it darker. So just really kind of, just to make it different from the other. So I'm just use 2 colors here, and that one I'm going to make it darker too. Okay. So if we go back to our layout and then we press 0. So the next bit now is to duplicate. So I'm going to come here and let's place the pieces and duplicate them. So G, I'm going to select this guy here, pawn, and this goes here. Okay. Shift D, and one goes here, doesn't it? So this one, I don't want light pieces. I want the dark pieces. So there you go. So I just apply the dark pieces to it. And now duplicate this one as well. Okay, so I've put more pieces. I use my top view, much easier. So to move around with your top view. That you can come here now to I haven't added, feel free to add more lighting if you want, or change this environmental lighting, whatever you like to do. The other thing I did as well, I went to my shading, and here where I had object and I could see my materials, I have one bit here which is the world. And I also, here as you can see, environmental texture here. Okay. And I add a mapping and a texture coordinate to this, and I rotate. So you can rotate to environment, and then you see how different the light effect from different angles. So before was 0 here, and I could see on this area there's too much brightness there. So I rotated in 120 degrees, and I was happy with the result. Okay. You can try different things. So once you're done, you can come here to your render settings, and now you can this threshold, I'm just gonna just put 500 now, and also here in the render maximum samples, I can bump this up a little bit, not too much. I'm gonna put 500, and the noise threshold, I'll leave it is, and I keep denoising on. Okay, once you're ready, then you can render. And so denoise, I'm going to put the quality high. I'm just going to put this one so my computer is not processing. I'm going to come here and render image, or you press F12 as well, and just wait depending on, oh, right, okay. So that is an image that I had there. This is quite important that I should happen. So let's close this window now. What happens is anything that is maybe hidden, if that is on, the little camera there, means it's going to be rendered. So in fact, all these guys here that I was working on, I can turn off. Some of them I can delete. So this sphere here, I was testing some of the materials with it, so I don't really need it, that big sphere. So I think I'm okay. I put some of the pieces, and I also rotate, because the pawns, I repeat them many times. So please rotate them in Z so they don't look all the same, with the same texture showing the same place. And then we'll take a few minutes. I didn't tell you. So every time you have here slot 1, so you can slot, this was my first render, and slot 2, and then I add something here. You can see the difference in lighting. I add something, and we're going to show you right now. It's called the ambient occlusion, because it doesn't look very natural. So when you add the ambient occlusion, which is the closed shadow, you see the dark shadows, those dark areas. So it becomes a lot darker. As you can see here, there's no shadow around those areas that are more detailed. So when you add ambient occlusion, it has a huge difference. Okay. And then I change my lighting a little bit, and also move my camera down a little bit. Let me just show you how to add the ambient occlusion in your material. So you go back to Blender, Blender, and let's go to the shading again. And I'm going to just select my the light one. So here, nothing has changed. So here, that's what it was before. Have a look at the difference there. Boom. You see? So there are 3 new things that are here. Okay. So all you need to do, so you need to create, add an ambient occlusion here, add another color ramp, and then you add a mix. If you shade mix color, is it mix color? Yeah. So you add a mix color. So ambient occlusion, color ramp, and a mix color, right? And then you're gonna put the color ramp in a color A. Okay, let me just do that for you. Now I'm gonna put it there. So here in the color, you have to multiply, because you don't want it, just want to multiply. So you're gonna put the dark areas on top of the other color. Okay, let me just plug, and the result you're gonna put in a base color. The way it works, like factor, is you put the factor 0. Yeah, it's only gonna take into account the color A. And then if you put to 1, the color B. But as is a multiply, is adding. And the color ramp, you control how dark you want that ambient occlusion. Okay, I just want a tiny bit. Yeah, so I just want to see those closed shadows here on those dark areas there, So that is my, that's the difference. So that's what you need to do. So you had this here before. So you add this 3, 1, color 1, put multiply, and then the result you put into base color. And I did the same for the dark pieces, and also did for my board frame. Okay. I didn't do for the board because there's no closed shadow here. It's just a flat plane. So there's no, there's no up and down. So it's just flat. So it wouldn't make any difference. Okay. And then if you go here to view render, yeah, so if you want to render again, you can go to slot 4, for example, and then go back to, and then render. So it's always a good way to, and then compare every time you change something. Okay. So great. Let's have a look at slot 3. Yeah. So great. So I hope you learned something. Let me know if you would like me to do any tutorial about anything. Let me know if you have any questions about this one. And if you're happy with this my tutorials, please feel free to subscribe to my channel. All my tutorials are based on my students, and so I always see what they need, and then I create a tutorial. So just ask me for anything that you need, that you want to learn, and I will do my best. Thank you for watching.